just flip the cane right there.
Grab it, grab it, grab it, grab it.
Well guys, that is pretty cool. I'm so glad I've had my tetanus shot. It's up to date because that was a mess. It's pretty rough. Got all those big metal beams moved off the tin. Let me see if I can show you. Oh gosh. Let's hope it's worth it. But there's a skink. There we go. Come on. Oh, that's a big skink. This guy right here is obviously a male, and he is a good example of why they're called the Broadhead skink. That is a crazy head. Look at those jaw muscles. That's insane. They give you quite a bite too. I'm shaking because I'm so tired from flipping that stuff. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're cool, dude. Alright, so step one, check with the landowners. Step two, get some gloves because this stuff is very sharp. I don't feel like I need to tell everyone that, but if you've never handled tin before, it's very sharp and you don't want to be handling it with your bare hands. Whether you're flipping tin or placing it, you don't want to be touching it more than you have to because one, it gets really hot, two, it's extremely sharp, especially if it's been cut. So with this tornado that came through, we've had a lot of tin knocked down. There's actually a few tornadoes, and this tin came from my grandparents. I don't recommend like stealing from people, but if you find some tin that's not being used, it's a pretty good way if you go after a big storm like that to find your own tin. If you'll just kind of cruise around and look and see what's available that no one cares about. And one other thing to keep in mind when you're choosing the spot to lay your tin is you want to know what species you're going after and what you're wanting to find, because honestly, if you don't really have an idea of what you're trying to find under the tin, then you kind of don't know where to put it and what habitat to look for. So like this habitat is like, it's in a neighborhood. It's pretty urban, but I mean, it's power line cut. But this nice woodland here, I found timber rattlesnakes in here, scarlet snakes, even a rat snake. Like, another thing to keep in mind when you're setting your tin is these guys right here. This is fire ants, and if you live in North America, you've probably seen them, or at least if you live in the eastern United States, because they're here, there's a few mounds out here, and if you place your tin too close, and sometimes even if you don't place it near one at all, these guys will usually take up refuge underneath your tin and make it pretty much impossible to find snakes. Alright guys, so I laid this tin out not too long ago, just a few weeks ago, and hoping that we'd get rattlesnakes under it, but it's already produced a snake, and I already know it is because I just flipped it, but we're going to look at it again. Alright Clay, grab it, okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Right.
never agreed to this
Grab
before.
it. Grab it, grab it, grab it. There you go. Racer.
God.
Grab him. Okay. There we go. Cool.
Please don't bite.
He's in shed too. In the middle of shedding. Cool. Well, careful though. What we got? Alright guys, so a little while back, like a month ago, me and Colton put these boards out here in hopes to catch a mud snake. And I flipped this one, and there was a little baby siren underneath it. And I was like, okay, then that's a good sign, because if there's sirens, the mud snakes probably aren't far behind. So then I flipped this one right here, and boom! Little baby eastern mud snake. Awesome. Did exactly what I wanted it to do. That thing is so cool. It's my first time seeing one this small. Well guys, we just flipped Colton's other board next to the mud snake board, and I was about to let the mud snake go, and we got a crayfish snake with a crayfish in its belly. What on earth? That's my lifer. That is so cool. The odds. So the reason this little nondescript gray snake is such a big deal to me is because they're actually not that common. Interesting snake. They feed exclusively on crayfish, which is what's in his belly right there, because I felt of it. Specifically freshly molted crayfish. That's their favorite thing to eat. So when crayfish molt, if you didn't know, their exoskeleton is very soft and pliable. That's when these guys take advantage of it, and they'll go and munch on them. They fold them in half and eat them backwards so that the claws don't damage their internal organs, and they just go down a whole lot easier. This is so cool. I've never seen one of these before, so it is a lifer. And I wish I would have gotten the flip on video, but I really wasn't expecting that. Just, I mean, it's a nice swamp, but it's in someone's backyard. Look at the belly. Let me see if I can show you that. That's the belly. Super cool. Well guys, that is pretty cool. Two awesome aquatic snakes from South Georgia, the glossy crayfish snake and the eastern mud snake. We're about to let them go. We'll let them go both under the same board. How about that? Well, the mud snake's gone, and then
Oh my gosh, instantly.
yeah, like that's why they're hard to find. Boom, gone. I just was flipping this tin here, and under this little piece of metal that I debated not even flipping, there's a red belly under it. Pretty nice little example of the species. Looks pretty freshly shed, and it's nice and chunky, just how I like them. So I'm gonna flip the rest of this stuff and see if there's any of his friends hanging out. I consider them to be one of the more desirable fossorial species to flip as far as the little stuff goes, because they're not quite as common as like ringnecks and stuff. I mean, they are, but I think on average I usually see more ringnecks than these guys. A stunning red belly, as their name implies, and everything about them is just cool. They have keeled scales, which is neat for a little fossorial snake. Most of the ones we have around here have smooth scales. Have a neat little behavior where they curl the lip, their upper lip, just a little bit, and reveal their gums and their teeth, and it's supposed to be like a little defensive thing to ward off predators. But like I said, I've never seen them do it, but I always try to watch and see if I can get them to when I first catch them. Now, one of my 10 spots. Not really expecting to see anything because of how hot it is. I'll do my best to video this for you. But last time I checked, well, the last snake I found here was a humongous timber rattlesnake. I have to grab this. It's not home today. Skink. Oh crap. in any way flippable. Of course I didn't get on video, guys, but just flip the cane right there is in the curl of this thing. Could be more, gotta be careful. Cool beans. Whoa. Well, this was in that big garage door over there. It was in the folded piece of it, so I'm gonna go try to flip the rest of it. Maybe he'll stay there, but super cool timber rattlesnake. Second one, I found this here at the spot, and super pretty. It's actually one of the nicer ones I've seen this year, or period actually. It's a nice pinkish one. So before I take pictures of this thing rather, here's some footage of it on my cell phone. He doesn't like my phone apparently. It's been pretty chill up until now. But it's a real nice pink canebrake, which is pretty much the best phase you can find around here. Like, you'll get yellow ones down here in South Georgia. You'll get brownish ones, like just a dark brown ones. It's kind of interesting. You'll get orangey ones. You'll get some that are purple, and you'll get these nice pinky purple ones, and some that are almost like whitish. But this guy's like the best phase in my opinion to find down here. It's got something going on with his bottom lip there. I can't really tell what that is. Of course, I did pick him up and move him over here in that bucket, which probably wasn't the most pleasant thing for him, but he's going to be released unharmed back where I found him over there. But I just want to get a few photos. See that tail, it tapers off to black at the end, and between their scales they have that lighter color. See some of that pink. You can really see it right next to those bands, and their scales are heavily keeled. And as you can see, you can actually, with rattlesnakes, or at least with timbers, you can see the skin in between their scales, which is kind of unique among snakes, but it's because they're so heavy bodied. They store a lot of fat, especially in this last third of their body, and will store lots of fat down here towards the tail, and you can really see it there. There's spacing between the scales. It's just one of those things. It's like a butterfly or something to me in nature. It doesn't look like it should be real, but it's just a beautiful part of nature. Knows exactly where he belongs.